Woohoo! Okay, ladies around the world and men who are watching, where there's a will, there's a way. All right, if it doesn't work out the first time, figure it out. I am here with Dr. Pat. We're recording, but don't you worry, we're going to post it on Hey, I Got Something to Say platforms, and you can watch it whatever way you want to watch it on social media. Dr. Pat, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're here.
Oh, me too. This has been fun getting here too.
It's a journey. It's a journey.
It's just something. It's a little travel. It's a sideline travel today.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I want to tell them just a wee bit about you, and then we're going to go into some of the things you sent me. So,
Sure, go ahead.
Dr. Pat is a high performance mastery mentor, functional medicine doctor, and international best-selling author. Oh, I can't wait for you to hear about her books. As the CEO and founder of Health Team Network, her passion lies in elevating health, lifestyle, and mindset through science-based solutions, ensuring tangible results. Driven by the goal of maintaining top performance in work and home and leisure, she simplifies high performance strategies, promoting health, happiness, and goal achievement in record time. Her personalized programs address individual needs, leaving no aspect untouched: mind, body, and soul. Dr. Pat's collaborative approach thrives on evidence-based solutions, making excellence attainable for anyone seeking to enhance their life and excel. Dr. Pat, when I asked you, what's the one thing you want to tell women around the world, you said empower women to believe in their strength. Why'd you pick that one?
Well, because I think a lot of times we encourage everybody else except ourselves, and you can't be
Mm,
encouraging everybody else and not have strength. And so in that inner strength that you have, I mean, think about, it's normal for women to multitask. It's just like if you're in the childbearing years, you're doing work, home, play, and you're doing
mm.
it all. And a lot of times we end up getting depleted before, 5 o'clock, let alone at noontime, because we're just, we spread ourselves way too thin. In order to really do your life, you have to have strength. And that strength gives you the endurance to make it through anything.
Yeah. Why we know it logically, but I cannot tell you how many women, when I said you were going to come on the show, said to me, tell Dr. Pat, logically, we know that we should care for ourselves and that we do have this inner strength to tap on. But why, in almost like a second, do we get pulled into the other things we have to do with our families and forget about ourselves? And so many women said, I don't know how to stay in that. I know it logically, but I don't put it into practice on a daily basis.
Well, a lot of women don't put it in practice at all. I mean, there's a lot of things that we know to be true, but we don't take the action steps in order to do them. And when you speak from your inner spirit and from your inner soul, and you create those boundaries, because you can't take care of somebody else unless you're taking care of yourself. And and when you're doing something, you have to take such great care of yourself. That effervescence and that energy from that is contagious. I always think that women in community heal themselves. And when they do that, they heal those behind them, those
Mm,
ahead of them, and those all around them. And then you get your energy from that. Because if crisis hits, it's just like you call your friend. It's just like, I can't, like, I've got a job interview, coming up, and I don't have anyone to watch my kids. What do they say? Bring them over.
yeah, that's true.
You have such incredible support from like that women's community. It's just taking the time and looking at a clock, because even if you can, when you work, when you get home, it will change your life if you can lay down flat for 30 minutes, lay down flat and do nothing, and just put the timer on, lay down, close your eyes. Even if you still have your work clothes on, do it for 30 minutes and make it a ritual. It takes 256 days max. and 18 days minimum, with the average of being 66 days for someone to take a habit and to make it into a ritual. You know,
Well,
and it's just
well,
like, and if you want to make it so that, you know, and you know, it can vary, but the average is that. So there's this 21 90-day rule that you do something for 21
yeah,
days
yeah,
and then you do it for another 90 days. Well, if you had 21 and 90, that's 111 days. So if you can do something for that period of time, you're way ahead of anybody that's average, that does it in 66 days. You've got the stamina, you have the consistency, because if you want to be powerful and you want to be consistent and successful in your life, no matter what you're doing, you have to have consistency. And that consistency is your juice. That is your power horse. That is your power tool. And that is when someone goes, what's your superpower? Consistency, you know, and being true to yourself. You know, that would be another good one to adopt, because when you are, then when somebody asks you to do something, you know, it's just like you time things out a little bit better. You're not running around like a crazy person working all day long and then like running your kids all over the place. Maybe you can, you know, can consolidate that with a friend whose kids are doing the same thing. You know, and so that
yeah,
you know, just for example, if you're in corporate and you're trying to do that, you know, someone who's in corporate, that's an executive and a leader, they delegate, you know, and they delegate well. So do it in your own personal life too. Like what you do, how you do anything. Who says that? How you do anything is how you do everything. You know, it's just like, just start with small. You don't have to do like the whole world in one day. But if you're trying to revamp your life so that you can hold yourself accountable to those changes, you know, so that it isn't like, oh, I know I should do that. You know, if you just start doing something, it will lead into something else, you know. And when you do that, your family can see, like, you know, like, wow. And, you know, and start, you know, I see so many people who have kids. I'm going, how they're old enough to make their bed. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, and, you know, and
So
my
true.
mentors had 4 girls that were all like, you know, one, they're Irish, so they had them one right after the other. And, it's, but, you know, she always had them, you know, like if they were in a good place, like go to your bedroom, you know, go read a book, you know, and, you know, and like, you know, and taught them to be, you know, self-resilient, because you have to have resilience. And you also, you know, and to be able to teach that and show that by example, lead by example, you know, then, you know, your kids grow up and they lead by example when they have
Yeah,
their own families. I mean, it's something that will always is now in your DNA that you can pass along and that type of thing. But you
yeah.
just have to start small. You don't have to start big. If you just say, you know, when I get home, I want 30 minutes to myself, you know, don't talk to me, just, you know, and then it's just like, find some meditation, some yoga nidra thing to listen to, or
Yeah.
listen to the Silva method. You know, they like the centering exercise is only 21 minutes. That's not even 30, you know. But if you get your headphones on, you lay down and you piece that into as making it into a ritual, your life will change and you will feel empowered. And it will translate into how you think, how you look, and how you feel. And then that level of self-confidence will make you unstoppable.
Well, were you always like this? Because being a doctor, I mean, that's 24/7. I mean, did you just lay down in the office, go, that's it, I'm done, then get
No,
back
I
up?
did.
Or
At
you
lunchtime,
did?
after when I went to lunch, I ate very careful lunch. I never ate wheat. You know, I ate Mediterranean, like a Mediterranean salad, something like that.
Really?
Or else I fasted. I was doing intermittent fasting before anybody was doing intermittent fasting. And I was just like, is that what I go? I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I always made sure my biggest meal was at lunchtime, you know, or if I was working, I'd prefer to have 2 equal meals at lunch and at dinner, you know, and then I stopped eating by 7:30 at the latest at night, unless it was a special occasion. And you know, a bunch of people got together for a Christmas dinner or something like that. Then that was different, but I didn't make a habit of it, you know. And I also made a habit of drinking, you know, at least, you know, about like, you know, I've weighed 150 pounds for like years. I can't even, high school, I weighed 150 pounds. And, you know, and then it was considered you're fat.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
150 pounds now, it's like, it's a normal weight, you know, I'm size
Yes, absolutely.
6 or an 8, something like that. And just doing those things for yourself. So what I did at lunchtime at my office, because I had a chiropractic office. I mean, I just did it here. I'm visiting an office in Richmond right now. And I told his office manager, I said, I need to lay down. I've got a show. I got to lay down. I just had lunch and I'm ready to go to sleep.
Ah,
I need to do that. And I always made a habit of laying down after lunch, you know. And so I went in, lay down on this kind of like
love
psychiatry
it.
type couch that I don't know where they got it from, but for 20 minutes, did my Silva method meditation for centering, and which also makes me feel like I had an extra hour of sleep at night. There's a great part in doing that. And then I, got up, and organized, got liquids in here, and I'm sitting in the extra room, which might just well be my office and going into the new year.
Oh,
Yeah. And so I'm looking at an opportunity to go back and physically help people make those transitions from being, wherever they want to go on their journey for their health,
mm.
mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, from that point going forward, and so this will be they have an international airport here, just in case anybody wants to know. But I love it. But I used to sleep, you asked me that question, and I would take a 30-minute nap. I would have, especially in the wintertime, because I was on
Yeah,
Cape Cod and it was
yeah.
freezing. I'd lay down and have my staff put hot packs on my upper back and my lower back, and I would zone for it's sometimes up to like 40 minutes, something like, never be more than 40,
Yeah,
because if you don't want to get into a deep sleep cycle,
yeah,
because then you wake up and you go, where the heck am I?
yeah. I
So
don't like
I did
that.
that,
Yeah.
and it was always very refreshing to do that. So even if you did it for 30 minutes, go out and sit in the sun with your eyes closed for 30 minutes. It's a good thing to do.
You know, I was a big napper, but it was like 15, 20 minutes. I used to call them like power naps,
Mhm.
but it just made me feel better. It just made me like I could just take that little bit of nap and I felt so much better. And now I haven't done it in a long time. And about a month ago, I just started just going, yep, that's it. I'm going to go up. I don't know if I'm going to meditate. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shut down. And it's been, I think it ends up, I'm there for like 30 minutes. Isn't that
Mhm.
crazy?
30 minutes is a good number, because if you don't, if you, you're in like kind of like sleep, but if you wake up, when people out, I just said this, but when people are falling in deep sleep and someone wakes you up out of the clear blue sky at night, that's when you can't go back to sleep,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're like, and you're in that shock mode. But, when you have, when you're in deep sleep, you want to stay in deep sleep and complete that cycle, so that you go from that aspect, because that's when your brain detoxes, that's when your body is healthily detoxed. And you don't
Mm,
want to do that on a nap. You don't want to get into that state. So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
right around 30 minutes, something like that, that you want to be mindful of for taking naps. Like 20 to like 30 minutes is a good like time span. That's why like the Silva method for that one thing, or even the yoga nidra for the 20, 30 minutes is great, because then you can turn, and set your timer. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's like, in case you just kind of keep on going out and you really fall asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Set the timer. All right. I want to switch gears here because one of your big statements that you said about far as like little tips for the women to stay in that belief that they are strong. You said cultivate confidence, mentorship and support, education and development, advocacy, and equal opportunities. Well, when I sent it out to my peeps, again, their big thing was on cultivate self-confidence. And did you have any tips for them? Because
I do.
again, they know it's supposed to be true, but it's really
I
difficult.
do. You've got to shut off the lizard voice in your head. There's three brains. The first brain is the lizard brain, or the primitive brain, the mammalian brain, and then you have the conscious brain. And they all communicate with the mammalian brain. So the lizard brain is the one that talks to you, and your most important job with the lizard brain is to be able to control the conversation. Because when you can you can eventually control the outcomes. So the lizard brain is the person that said, you're not good enough, or like, what are you wearing that for today? And it's just like, well, I like it because I feel good. This is the conversation you have with yourself. I feel good. Well, no one else will be wearing something like that, to this
Ooh,
kind of function. And then you go like, good. I just like, they're not wearing it. I am. Shut off. Goodbye. But the mammalian brain collects all your emotions, everything that's ever happened to you. So what happens is if you went out to something in some outfit like that, is why the lizard brain is telling you, forget about it. It wasn't a hit before. So why are you doing it? And when you have that experience, you experience the same emotions again. So you really have to take control and knock the guy off your shoulder. And because it's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is my life. I want to wear pink lipstick. I'm wearing pink lipstick, and you don't like I had my hair curly one time. It's like I knew my ex-husband and I were not going to make it. Is when he told me that I look like a poodle with a perm. And I just went, and then one of his best meditation buddies came in going, I love your hair. It's like Sophia Lorenz. It was like, or it was like Raquel Welch, whoever was the big star at the time, and I just and I learned to push that energy away from me, freeze it. I call it the freeze technique, and I teach that to all my clients. Someone's trying to suck your energy for no apparent reason, you freeze them. Doesn't mean you don't like them. You just keep that distance away from you, and if they're involved with somebody else, because you don't want to get into third party stuff. It's just like, you just freeze them too. And it's just like their energy they can't destroy your peace of mind.
I love that. Wait, lizard brain,
mammalian brain, and then you have your conscious brain.
Yep.
Your conscious brain, and actually the mammalian brain is the holy grail of marketing, because what they do is they take those pain points that happen to you, and they keep you in that pain point. So then what you want to do is you want to take the pleasure point and with affirmations and like, I am healthy, I am vital, I am active, successful, I'm beautiful. I love that song that, I am woman.
Yeah.
Fearless, I am strong. It's just like, and I love the lyrics that I listened to that for a week one time, every morning when I got up. It's just like people would say hello to me, fine, how are you? It's just, and I'm more than just fine, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's a fun song, but I think it's a great affirmation for women to listen to.
Yeah. I put myself up. There's a song by Meghan Trainor called I Love Me. I don't know about you, but I love me.
Well, and she goes, I can love me better than you can, right? And that's like in the flower song, it's just like, I went, what a powerful statement. If someone's giving you crap in your life, you don't even have to say it out loud. You think it. If you think it, your mammalian brain's storing that, like, yes, I can love me better than you can. And it increases your value to yourself and your self-worth. So when somebody says something to you, later on, something like, I don't like the way that you parked your car, you'll go, okay, like, let me see if I parked my car incorrectly. All right. I said, thanks for sharing it with me. And you walk on, you're thinking, what was that all about? And, it's just like, this had that recently happen to me. I'm thinking, I'm in between my lines. But I'm thinking, I don't know, you might have my car confused with somebody else's, but it didn't go there. But anyway, the conscious brain is so powerful, and it's most powerful just before you go to sleep. And it's also really powerful when you wake up, because that's the one that really quells the lizard brain and tells the mammalian brain it's going to be a great day. So when you start your day with a positive note, you end your day with a positive note. It's a heck of a lot easier to do that than if you're starting off your day being mad at somebody, or someone says something to you, you're thinking like, oh, and it makes you feel like icky. Go jump in the shower again and jump in the shower and take another shower and come out, put your lipstick back on and put your face on. And it's just like, all right, come on, world, I'm ready for you. And it's just, and I think those things are like little things, but saying affirmations in like first person and present time, is essential to get the message to you. And it's just like, they say, in internet marketing, right, you have to have touch points up to like 10, 15 times with somebody now. It used to be 3 or 4, then it went to 8. It's like 10 to 15 times now. You might have to tell yourself when you're looking in the mirror every morning that you love yourself, and look in your eye, because you can look in your own soul. And it's an easy way to do it. And it's just like, and sometimes, doing that exercise, which I give couples, I also give individual people to do, look in a mirror. If you're in a couple, look at each other, no speaking, but, to tell yourself, I love you. There was a joke about about men, like it's just like that they go into like, when they're in the bathroom, they're getting ready, to go out or whatever. One of those guys said, it was a comedian, one of the last things that like men always say to themselves, James Bond, 007. It's just like, well, why can't women say Jane Bond,
Yeah, yeah.
watch me roar? It's just like, so I just think there's a lot of things that we can do, and if something happens, like something breaks or, you screw up, just like, wow, I screwed up. What can I do to make it up to you? Don't stop saying you're sorry, because every time you say you're sorry, just fix the problem. Every time you say you're sorry, you're giving energy away. And if you're going to give your energy, it better be to a person, place, or a thing, or time or event that deserves it.
Okay, so let's back up on that one. Saying you're sorry. Do you think we just say it too much, or you
Oh yeah.
think you shouldn't say it? Because
Oh
there
yeah.
might be times you are sorry, but you really feel like you're giving your energy away.
You're definitely giving your energy away. You have, I listen to people get into arguments at restaurants, instead of someone just saying, it's like, they say like, oh, I'm sorry, like this. And then they sit there and they sulk,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's like, what's positive about sulking? It's just like, you don't want to get the attention being the sulker or the sulky, because being the sulky is not, it's like it's pulling negative energy to you. But if something happens, in a practice that I worked in that was Hispanic, and I don't speak Spanish that well, but I had an interpreter. I would ask somebody to move down to the table. The men never said they were sorry, but the women did.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Oh, yeah.
said, wait, stop saying you're sorry. Just move to the end of the table. Just say, okay. And I was coaching all these women. I was so glad I wasn't there longer than a week, because I thought there's going to be a couple husbands that are going to come looking for me. And, I just said, just say, when something happens, just say to your husband, they go, what do I say? I just say, give me an example, like, how come dinner's not ready? Right. I said, instead of saying, I'm sorry, I ran late, I had this, don't give any excuses. Just say, oh my God, it is, and just say, it'll be ready in 10 minutes. Okay. And then, you turn around and you finish doing what you have to do, if that's part of your deal that you have with your partner. But and even, it's more beneficial to say, wow, that happened. How can I fix it?
Hmm.
And someone goes, oh, don't forget about it. Do you ever have that when somebody says to you, like, oh my God, like if I screw up an appointment, because sometimes it happens when I'm traveling, or like
Yeah.
I was on the plane on a tarmac yesterday, way too long, and I couldn't get a call to somebody. As soon as I got a telephone again, I just said, look, I am so, I didn't say, I'm so sorry. I said, I am so need to fix this. And I was on a tarmac, on a plane, and I couldn't get a phone call out to let you know that I was running late, or we might have to just reschedule it. And I said, what would you like me to do to make it up to you? And
Hmm.
I've never had anybody give me anything that I should do to make it up to them, but they were like, wow, I've been in that same position before.
Yeah, yeah,
But when you say you're sorry, you have to make sure that when you're saying you're saying for a good reason.
yeah, yeah. It's something I have to work on. I know sometimes we just do as a habit. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And you don't even have anything to be sorry for, you
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Pick and
Well,
choose. Pick and choose.
pick and choose. So I went on your page, or I don't know whether it was Facebook, Instagram, and I picked two quotes that I want to go over because I think they're fabulous and I want to frame them. And this
Sure.
is a big one because I can't tell you how this fits me so many times. Be so positive that negative people don't want to be near you.
Isn't that great?
I was peeing myself laughing, like, oh my, and don't, because I could be annoying sometimes because I am. I'm pippy, skippy, happy, whatever. And I can tell if people are really down, they don't want to be around me. Well, it's like, it's okay. Dr. Pat says that's okay.
You tell them that. Give them my phone number. They need some help. Um, it's so much easier to stay on the positive side of life. And a lot of times things happen and people take them personally. Their skin's not very thick. And then they think about it 2 days later, it did not matter if that happened or didn't happen. So when you're positive, people who are naysayers, every time I see a naysayer, it's just like they don't want you to succeed because they're jealous of you for some reason, whatever it is, no matter if it's this lifetime or some other, whatever woo-woo thing, whatever possibly it could be. It could be that, it's just like they go, oh, she's so smart, or, she knows how to pick her words like so easily, and instead of going like, wow, how did you learn to say that? With that impact, can you teach me how to do that? It's just, can you teach me how to say no? And I would say no. and, and so, because we give, I'm not willing to give my good energy or a portion of my life up to somebody who's trying to destroy it. I'm not doing it. And so it's like, and I implore other people to consider like, assess the situation and then why that's happening in the first place. And you don't have to participate in it at all. You can watch it like you are watching a movie. As when you watch a movie you don't like, what do? You change the channel. So if you have negative people around, even your family, I mean, you have to like deal with your family, but you can ice them out before you.
I'm going to freeze them out, like you told me. You said freeze them out.
Freeze them out. And when you get there, and then I just learned to say things that that are not engaging. When I went to chiropractic school, my first winter I came home, I decided to be vegetarian or vegan, right? And I come home to Christmas dinner, and I was eating. I probably was, I decided I could have turkey. And so I asked my mother if we could have turkey. My brother was cooking dinner. My mother never told my brother. And if she did, he ended up cooking prime rib. So, and it was like, and I didn't eat it. And they're going, where do you get the willpower for that? It's just like, wow, you're so different after you went to school. It's just like, where is, and, all that, like, family negativity. And I just kept on saying, well, because I can. Or thanks for sharing it with me. And I just moved the conversation on. I didn't dwell on it, and I thought myself, I go, I never want to be, I'm the baby of the family. I never want to be any of my sisters, because they all married their high school sweetheart. And for many reasons, a lot of those things didn't work out the way that they planned to work out. I'd rather be in command of my life and command of my thoughts. And when you're not in command of your thoughts, because it's crucial to have command of your thoughts.
Absolutely. Which brings me to my second favorite. It's not what you say to everyone else that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power.
Bang, mic drop. Don't need to say anything. I love that too. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, there's so many people who have that self-talk that by the time you're done, it's just like, you wouldn't say what you say to yourself to somebody else. I mean, really. And so having that positive self-talk to yourself, and having command of your thoughts, and what you whisper to yourself, you whisper to yourself, I can, just watch me. You want to give me another challenge? You want to see me do it even better? Because if I don't know how to do it, I'll find the person who can coach me or mentor me into that position. Because if they've already done it, it's just like, let's not reinvent the wheel, ladies. I mean, let's just like, what do we got going for us that's so great? And who do we know in our network that knows how to do something better than we know how to do it? Who wants to see us and have our back and wants to see us succeed also? Because when I succeed, you succeed. I used to tell my staff all the time, I make money, you make money. And it's just like, it's simple. You either support me, you're either for me, you're against me, or you're not for me. If you're not for me, then you didn't work for me. And if you're not for me, I might know you, your acquaintance, you're not my friend. But there's things that you can, it's okay to disagree with people, but to have that thought process of like, what am I talking to myself? I'm talking to myself like, oh, I can't do that, and then you won't, Who was it? Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, it's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Wise man. All right. I can't believe we already ran over, but I don't care. Before we go, we have to talk about Oh my
One
God.
more thing.
These things crack me up. Your book that you published in 2020. Why? Come
Actually, I
on.
probably,
How'd you, I heard something that you were in Boston and you saw people, and they didn't look well, but why are you sick, fat, and tired? Come on. Brilliant, 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 brilliant.
well, that book was published in 2020. It was actually published in 2019.
Oh,
And the second edition was published last year in 2022. And so I was in Boston, and I retired early, and I moved to Boston, and I used to walk around all the time, and I saw people who were really sick. I mean, you could see it in their face. You know, never
yeah,
saw them. They
yeah.
were walking around with faces like, and not, and it's just like, wow, is anybody home? And, and I go, it really bothered me that, it's the first time I ever lived in a big city, and I was loving it. I thought that was so cool. And, I would see people, the same people every day going down the street. And I started saying hi to everybody. Good morning. How you doing today? It's just like, you don't seem too happy. Are you okay? And I would, and people would tell me all sorts of stuff. People never ask me, what do you do? It's just like, one guy I threw in a cab and said, you need to go to the hospital and get checked out. And he had greasy gray face, sweat. And
Yeah.
I said, he said, I have a project. I have to, do a project presentation today. And I said, you can't do it then. Hey, the car, let's go. And take him to Mass General front door entrance, please. And he went, and I ran into him later on. He said to me, you saved my life. I was in the beginning of the throes of having a heart attack.
Oof.
And those are real typical signs that I just said, really gray face, kind of very drawn, and with skin looks really strange, and greasy sweat. And, and I just said to him, he just said, I just wanted to thank you. He never said, what do you do? He just said, thank you. I went, that's fine. And the same time I read the article for the CDC put out, when I kindly say that's when they were telling the truth. And where they said that out of 212 participants, or no, out of the 2,500 participants, all 2,500 participants who lived in different places all had the same 212 common, potentially dangerous chemicals in their blood and urine. I went, how the heck could that be? And, which made me aware even more of people being sick and not knowing they were sick or getting sick. They just took it on as like, oh, family has, cancer, so I'm probably going to die of cancer too. Well, let's not have those self-fulfilling prophecies, okay? Let's say my family might have something. I don't have to ascribe to my family's DNA, because DNA only gets triggered in your epigenetics and your environment. And so you can change your environment. You can change and choose what you put in your mouth to eat. And you can change your thoughts, and you can change your actions so that you have better habits and rituals in your life that give you a happier, longer and life with a huge, nice longevity. And that you give as a gift to yourself. That's self-care, that's self-love, right? And so, but when I saw that article, that's when I decided I was going to go back out to work. And this is before anybody had coaches. And I went, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to coach or a consultant. And my girlfriend said, no, I think coach is a better word. And that I should have trademarked it. But I did. Nobody was calling us coaches, right? And I thought, wow, this is really great to be able to help a massive amount of people. So the book's really cool because it's a guidebook, it's a workbook, it's an advocating tool. It's a bunch of questions that show you, and so you can map out how your organ systems are working at a given time. I say buy the paper, spend the money, buy the paper, because when you have the paperback book, it doesn't go out of your sight. If it's on Kindle, you don't see it. So if you don't see it, out of sight, out of mind. And it's the best book when you're making health goals going into the new year, because you can actually achieve those goals in probably 90 days or less. Right? And so why not just give yourself the gift of health, and do that. And particularly in the book, I offer the opportunity to speak with me. If you don't want to speak with me, just say, I just want to talk to you because I'm trying to find somebody in my area, because I work primarily virtually. Unless if I'm coming here, you can come and see me here. But you can see, when you have that scope.
Yeah.
It just gives you so many other possibilities in your life, that you can say yes to, and never say no to a good invite. Say yes and go ahead with it.
I like it. Never say no to a good invite. Well, Dr. Pat, I'm so glad we figured this out. And I'm so happy to share with my, hey, I got something to say, people. Is there anything you want to tell the ladies and men watching around the world before we go?
Thank you. It's just like we all need girlfriends,
Yeah.
and, colleagues and people who have our back, and that that you can call and you can depend upon. You can call me.
Woo! Where can they find you before we go? Where can they
Well,
find you?
that's
Get
an
your book. Tell
important
us
fact if you're
everything.
going to call me. My website is healthteamnetwork.com. So it's healthteamnetwork.com. There's a lot of ways to connect with me from that. You can also buy my book from my website, which is on Amazon. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram. Same, it's like Instagram, .com/ Dr. Pat Boulogne, which I'm sure you'll help with the spelling.
Yep. Yep.
And on LinkedIn, it's the same thing. Feel free to reach out to me. I don't bite. And, and I love to solve problems and I like to make sense of that. So, because who wants to you solve a problem, but it's still convoluted. Let's make it safer, quicker, with simpler solutions.
Amen.
And then you know where to spend your time, your energy, and your resources. And making better choices, that are positive and that are enriching for you. It's another great way to build confidence, and also help you with continuity.
I'm not going to say no to that. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'd appreciate you sharing, liking, and rating it. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next time, toodles. Bye, Dr. Pat.
Bye-bye. Love you. Take care, everybody.